to reach 100,000 in monthly revenue next year, there are three things that I think we have to do. Number one is, hello, so today I wanted to talk about a bit our plan for scaling. So we recently hit 10,000 in revenue, and before that, a year before that, we were almost at 1, maybe 0K in revenue. So the progress has been really, really good. The question is, how are we going to do it so that the progress doesn't slow down but actually keeps going in the same trajectory, where we can basically multiply each year from the experience that we gain? It is very interesting to look back and to say, wow, from where I am today to where I was last year, it has been a huge change. And this is something that even if the results don't accompany, even if the cash is not following, which it will be, but if you focus on what you've built and who you've become over the time frame that you measure, that enough should be a good enough indicator of the progress that you're making. And that will serve as a basis to where you want to go. So we want to do 100,000 in revenue next year. And in order to do that, we have to put some systems in place that can hold something that has just done 10,000 euros in a month in revenue, maybe a bit more, 12,000 euros in a month in revenue. But it has been very patchy. Like imagine something leaks, we have to go to patch it ourselves. Like it has been a bit hectic. It hasn't been on autopilot. So there are operations and then there are operations. So to get these 10,000, we were actually deep in the trenches operating ourselves, doing some of the calls, doing all the ads. This month, for instance, I think we're going to go a bit down in terms of revenue, but this time we have automated most of our operations. We have systems in place. We have a team of 4 employees. So the 10,000 that we might do this month are worth more in terms of the logistics and the infrastructure of the company than the 10,000 last month. Because the margins are going to be different and the time we spent is going to be different. Because at the end, we have to be, me and my co-founder, as the founders of the company and as the visionary leaders, we have to be doing that. Focusing on the vision of the growing and focusing on making the key decisions, the wonder decisions that will shape the future of the company. And if we're in the operations, we can't do them. So the first step that we did was obviously get out of operations. And I think that is a key message that I want to send to my future self, to my future son if he's watching this. Get out of operations and start thinking in the high leverage decisions. The decisions that you make that will be able to unlock 10, 20x growths. So those decisions have to be where you put all of your energy. You can't spread yourself thin doing this. No, you have to be focused on what is going to bring the maximum growth to the business. Is it creating this new system to have higher quality leads so you need less lead callers? Is it this? Yes, maybe. Is it pivoting from doing tier 3 clients, which are small businesses, to going for tier 1, the big sharks with chains of 10, 20 businesses? It's about making these decisions where you unlock the greatest growth. And in order, I think, for us to hit 100,000 next year, we have to have a product that can support 100,000 in revenue. And that means it has to be a really good product. And I think there's a saying that I'm going to invent right now, which is that working on your product is never work bad spent. It's never energy wrongly invested. The return on working on a product is not only that the product becomes better, but you also become better. Because you develop a set of skills, which is the skills of developing a product. And those skills are the skills that are best paid in the marketplace and what the world needs. Because making a better product, in other words, is making the world a better place. And that is something that human evolution is always headed to, right? That's what we seek to do. That's why we were put by God on this earth, to make the world a better place. So developing the product is key to getting to 100,000 in revenue. Then something that we were just talking about an hour ago with my co-founder is the operations, the fulfillment of the product has to be nearly automatic. Think of it like this. Think that if someone buys your product, you simply send them a box and it's over with. Your service has to have the mentality of the product. So when you're developing a service and the package that comes with the service, you have to think of how can I make this the most similar to a real product where when they buy this, I just ship them and I forget about it. And this way, if you can automate and make the operations, the fulfillment of the service automatic, that's where you can scale and hold the 100,000s of revenue. Because if you have to fulfill, like you can make a sale, right? So a client pays you 2,000 a month. But how much does it cost you to fulfill those 2,000 a month? That is the cost of goods sold. So the leaner you are in the cost of goods sold, which is the energy required to fulfill the sales that you make, the easier it is going to scale. The only thing that you will need is to make more sales, which is the easy part if you have a good product. But when you're in a situation where in order to scale, you have to also fix the way you fulfill your product, which is a lot of businesses, I believe, and it is certainly our case, you're carrying a very heavy weight when you have to scale. So it's obviously harder to scale, but with any service-based business, it's going to be the same thing. So I believe that the service-based business that can make their service like a product where you subscribe and here you go, I already shipped your product. Something that is so good that works alone. It doesn't need your energy and is so automatized that you can rely that it's always going to be done well. That's the thing, because in service-based business, especially if you work with guarantees, you might make a sale of 2,000, but until you reach the results, those 2,000 euros that you sold are not yours, right? They're still the clients because they have a promise they need delivering on, and it is your job to deliver that promise. So for now, we have two things: get out of operations and be able to automatize and rely on the predictability of the operations, that they become consistent in a way that you can scale and that they can hold greater volume. So a common thing, which these two fall under the umbrella, is getting a better product or service. So I think that if I focus on getting a better product or service that can hold an automated delivery, which means I can serve to a lot of people with very few resources, I have a lot of leverage basically, I can get to 100,000 in revenue. But to get to 100,000 in revenue, obviously it's a big number, which means it's a lot of work. And you can't fulfill humanly possibly a service-based business where 100,000 euros, which is a lot of energy, a lot of dependence is coming into your business alone. So that's the third point. Talent acquisition. You can't build something exceptionally great alone. But if you can, imagine how great it can be if you have 10 people that can do that on your team. One genius can never compete against 5 geniuses. Simple relation. So it's very important to be able to get the right people on your team with the right drive on your team that are able to themselves have a good team behind them. So it's about building a structure inside your company that is auto-sufficient. And that is the point where you unlock true growth, I believe. When you are able to onboard on your team people that are super talented, and they can grow your business on your behalf. Like, how cool is that? You can pay someone to grow your business. You can say, I want to do this, and if you have the resources, you can pay someone to do it, and he will do this. Whatever you said, he will obviously take some money, the salary, the bonuses, the stock options, whatever you want to call it in bigger companies, and he's going to make you money, right? His job is to make you money because you obviously build all the systems and everything. So it's completely logical that this happens. But how cool is it to think that you can pay someone to build your company? And you can get people to build something together, right? A business is nothing more than a group of people that get together to do something, to build something. Right? You can think of it as a group of construction workers. They're here to build something and to invent something big, a product, a service, build a company. And you can get this. You can get people to do it for you. So the thing now is, how do you get the right people to do it for you? That's where talent acquisition comes in. That's where this personal brand comes in. Hopefully, if one day someone watching this video will say, wow, I really like this person, I really like what he's doing, I like his drive, his motivation, whatever he's doing, and I would like to be part of a team. And this team is going to be great, I'm telling you. So that's where this comes in. That's where the dynamics in the workplace comes in. What you can offer to an employee in terms of learning, right? What if you tell an employee, yes, you're going to come in now at a certain level, but with the growth that this company is having, you will be able to yourself grow a team and be able to direct a team. What does this say on your CV if you're an employee, right? So you can align the vision of growth with the company with the vision an employee can have for the growth in his career. And that way, with the wanting to work in a special, very special niche group, that is going to be the group that me and Marty are creating, we can get people that want to come in, and with the vision of growth that we have for the company, they can apply that vision of growth for their own employee career, and they can also grow. So it has to be a win-win situation to get them on the team. So therefore, to reach 100,000 in monthly revenue next year, there are three things that I think we have to do. Number one is get out of operations so we can do the visionary thinking. Number two is automatize the operation, the fulfillment, create a product that is so good that it is always deliverable in a very cost-efficient manner. So we are maximizing the gross profit. And number three, have a really great team that can do great things on our behalf and are creating things for the brand, for the business that can create even a better product for our clients. And this is how we're going to reach 100,000 monthly revenue next year. Ambitious? Yes. Possible? Yes. Are we going to do it? Yes. Are we obviously going to try our hardest to do it? Yes. Do we measure of output instead of input? No. So I'm actually not measuring in 100,000. I'm measuring in what can I do to get the product better? What can I do to get out of operations? What can I do to get a good team? And these are the goals that I'm setting. So if I set these goals, the result will accompany, and maybe it's not 100,000, maybe it's 20,000. But still, I think I'm building the right things. I'm focusing on the right things that have the possibility to create the output that I just said. And I don't focus on the output, and I focus on the input. So if I focus on the input and we get out of operations and we are able to create a really good product and we're able to onboard a really good team, that's a success to me, whatever the results say. If the bank says 0 after, I'm happy. So how can I lose? See you in the next one.